Have you ever felt like you're at the bottom of a deep, dark hole, looking up and thinking, how did I get here? You have people around you who are family, friends, who don't seem to understand how you feel. They say things like, just move on and it's in the past, it's time to heal. What does healing even mean? People think you should be happy or grateful or positive, but the weight of everything that you've been through makes those emotions feel like a million miles away. I've been there. I know what it's like to look at your life at 45, 55, or 65, like me, and in a foreign country, and feel like the ground has completely been pulled out from under you. But what if I told you that the anger that you feel isn't a setback? What if it's actually the emotion that is going to help you to climb out of that dark hole? Today, we're talking about the emotional energy spiral and how understanding where you are right now can change, and how there are things that you can do to start raising your emotional energy to a different timeline, one step at a time. Hello, and welcome to Mindset, Money, Success. I'm your host, Lorraine Marshall. In this week's episode, I'm returning to a topic that is very close to my heart because in my deepest and darkest moments, I found this tool and I've relied on it to help me. And understanding the emotional energy spiral. As many of you know, my journey hasn't been a straight line. I'm currently rebuilding here in Spain after a massive financial loss and the fallout from post-separation abuse. And at 65, without a safety net, it's easy to let the downward spiral take over. But understanding the science, the soul behind our emotional frequency, changes everything. We aren't just sad or unlucky. We are moving through some real deep emotions from trauma or others in our lives who have chipped away at who we are, or people who we've loved and trusted, people who have caused us harm, betrayed us, created fear and uncertainty in our lives, left us in a position of economic uncertainty, or even under the threat of homelessness, destitution, or financial and economic devastation. So what is the emotional energy spiral? Think of it as a self-reinforcing loop. Everything is energy and everything has a vibrational frequency. There are low and higher frequencies. Energy in motion equals emotion. And when we are existing or functioning in a lower emotional energy vibration state, we can begin to experience more of the same low energy experiences when we are living in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. When we feel good about ourselves and we are in a place of safety and security, and our bodies can begin to relax, and our mind and consciousness can move into feelings of hopefulness and calm optimism, we have crossed the timeline into a higher frequency. Our thoughts influence our emotions, which influence our behaviors. The descending spiral. Think of this diagram in a triangle, a descending spiral, and the ascending spiral upwards. So you've got the downward spiral and the upward spiral. So the descending spiral, this is the downward flow, and it starts with things like boredom, overwhelm, fear, frustration, insecurity, anger, grief, being unsupported, failure, doubt, heartache, worry, despair, humiliation, low self-esteem, self-blame, unworthiness, and the wound of shame. But if left unchecked, it gains momentum and it leads to heavy, low vibration states like guilt, apathy, and no will to live, and eventually death. The ascending spiral. This is the upward flow. It's fueled by high vibration emotions like hope, acceptance, courage, belief, cheerfulness, happiness, enthusiasm, gratitude, learning, self-love, positive self-talk, trust, joy, freedom, knowledge and service, empowerment, abundance, empathy, forgiveness, compassion, and eventually the highest vibration is unconditional love, truth, and 100% integrity. Now, if you would like a copy of the Emotional Spiral with my guide to some of the self-help practices that I have used myself, you can find a link in the show notes. And the key to remember is that these spirals are momentum based. Once you start sliding down, it feels faster, but the same is true on the way up. Once you get a little bit of upward movement, the universe starts to meet you halfway. Now, let's get real about where we often find ourselves as survivors who are dealing with stress, worry, fear, and uncertainty. When I show survivors of narcissistic abuse, coercive control, or psychological trauma a diagram of this spiral, almost everyone points to the same spot. Bottom left, no will to live. This is the black hole. It's the zone of unworthiness, the wound of shame, and that terrifying feeling of having no will to live. We must remember what Giselle Pellicourt referred to while going through her court trial in France. Shame must change sides. When you've been through the ringer, especially when you're dealing with grief and uncertainty of legal and financial battles, criminal court as a victim of gender-based violence, you aren't just unhappy. You're in a state of trauma-induced low vibration. You feel trapped. You might be faking the smile at work or for your family, which we call surface acting, but it's actually draining your energy even more. And if you were there right now, I want you to hear me. It is okay that you aren't positive yet. You can't jump from despair to joy in one leap. Remember what I said in the introduction. What if I told you that anger you feel isn't a setback? This is the part that surprises people. In the emotional energy spiral, anger is actually higher on the scale than despair or apathy. Now, when you're in apathy, you have no energy. You've given up. But when you get angry, you finally have a spark of will. Anger is a sign that your self-worth is waking up. It's part of you saying, this is not right. I deserve better than this. In my own recovery, moving from the I can't do this phase into the how dare they do this to me phase is a vital step. It gave me the adrenaline I needed to start making phone calls, to start writing and to start rebuilding. Anger is your engine. You just have to make sure you are the one driving it. But we have to be very careful. If we let anger sit, it turns into bitterness, which pulls us back down. We need a controlled release. Now, here are a few ways I've handled this. The voice memo vent. You could record yourself saying everything that you wanted to say to the person who hurt or harmed you. Get the poison out of your system and into the recording, and then you could delete it. The physical release. I'm a big fan of thumping a pillow or even a good loud scream. Just make sure you aren't in earshot of neighbours, or you might have the police at your door. Creative writing. Journaling isn't just for dear diary moments. It's raw, unfiltered processing. You could get the energy out of your body and onto the paper. Now, I use this method myself, as I did letters to the ex, letters to the other woman, and I just let flow in those letters. And you could even do the burning bowl ceremony. When you've written your letters, you can go and burn them afterwards. Singing, dancing. Sing along to your favourite songs, or just turn up the music and start feeling the beat of that music and to your heart's content. Rest and sleep, which is also needed. Tune into healing frequencies, meditations. There are lots of these channels on YouTube with lots of these types of meditations that you can use for free. So, once we've moved from despair to anger, how do we keep going upwards? We could use the 90-second rule. When a negative emotion hits us and we feel it fully, we don't fight it. We let it sit for 90 seconds. Then use high vibration affirmations to shift the narrative. Instead of saying, I'm a victim, or we can't do this, or we can't do that, we shift it to, I'm still here. I'm still on my feet, and I will keep moving until I find peace I deserve. And if you're feeling guilt, replacing it with self-acceptance. And if you're feeling fear, and remind yourself, I can have fears without my fears having me. I am greater than my fears. I will connect with love. I deserve to have everything I love, and I'm willing to release my fears and live the life I want to live. Now, these aren't just nice thoughts, they are jolts needed to kickstart your upward spiral. Now, here is the first ever I am grateful affirmation video that I created for my YouTube channel from April of 2021, while I was still hopeful of a good outcome and a secure future. Now, rebuilding and starting over after any trauma from domestic abuse or post-separation abuse is a step-by-step process. Now, if you move just 1 inch up the spiral today, that's a massive victory. And if this podcast helps you feel a little less alone in your journey, please consider supporting the show. The Buy Me a Coffee link is connected to the podcast, and every bit helps me keep these resources going as I recover and work on my own new direction here in Spain. I also have some exciting news. I've launched a brand new website, truthafterabuse.com. It's a hub for survivors to find the resources I wish I had. And for those of you who want more regular community-based support, check out my Facebook subscription support hub. It costs less than a cup of coffee per month, and it gives you access to a safe space and like-minded survivors. And if you need more personal, direct guidance, I'm now offering a few spaces for one-to-one mentor support video calls. And we can look together at where you are on this emotional energy spiral. And we could do that together. Now, thank you for listening. And remember, you are greater than your fears, and you can do this. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.